All right, so Heather and Ian, I'm so glad you're here, and I wanted to talk to you guys about this real estate deal in this e-course that you're putting together, and kind of get a little bit background because I know I've spoken to you several times, Heather, about this, and I'm so glad you brought Ian in.
Yeah.
And you talked about in one of our visits. You talked about you need to have a team.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so I understand that you and Ian have been working together for 7 years.
Yeah.
All right. So how'd you guys end up working together? What's the story? Ian, you want to share?
Okay, so we had become friends before I got into real estate.
Yeah.
Okay.
Through a mutual friend, we did trips together, camping. I think it was probably the first time I met Heather. I just right off the bat, she was personable, she was genuine, and she had this bubbly attitude that was kind of infectious. If she was happy, everybody else became happy. And so I was becoming unhappy in the profession I was in. Family life was suffering. It's just I didn't have a lot of time for myself, for my family, and I talking to her about different areas that I could move into from what I was doing. She thought maybe you should try real estate.
Wow.
And I took that as a sign that why not? Barrier for entry is not minimal, but it's relatively easy. And the information I got from her was it sounded like that's something I want to try.
It's good.
Okay.
All right, and so you get into real estate, all right, and obviously you're very successful at this. And so, what would let me ask you this because I think it's important. What would you say? Because this e-course that y'all are putting together is for the basic real estate investor that wants to get into rental proproperties.
Yes.
It's pretty specific, right?
It's geared towards them.
Geared towards that.
specifically.
Yes.
But I mean, a lot of the principles in here can be used for anybody. That's
anywhere.
seasoned.
Okay.
But it's specifically for the beginner.
Yeah.
Or maybe you have a couple properties, or maybe one property and it's not going so well. This is just a guide and principles that we tried and true tested.
It's good. And so with that, which I love that, Ian, and so with coming in and for somebody brand new, let's say somebody that's watched this e-course that they've always wanted to do this, but we're afraid to ask. Yeah, because they might ask a stupid question, right?
No stupid questions.
Right. So the beautiful thing about e-course is they can ask stupid questions and nobody hears it.
That's
right?
true.
So, which I love that, which is why I get e-courses. So, Ian, what would you say that the most important thing that a person's considering buying this e-course that wants to do real estate, what are they going to learn from this?
They're going to learn, kind of the basics, right? You have to kind of have a plan. You can't, fly by the seat of your pants.
Right.
You need a plan and you need to execute that plan. But this is a way to kind of organize that plan. Get it down, get your, because you have to have a strong foundation if you want to build something up. So that building, it needs that strong foundation that you're going to find in this e-course for building real estate and wealth through real estate.
Yeah. And what I like too, it's a small investment and getting ready to come into a larger investment. Because I think you talk about in one of your modules, talking about how much money you got to spend, right?
Yeah.
Because you got to have some money.
You just do.
It's not like, okay, if I hit the lottery, then I'm going to get into real estate. No. But you start out small, yes?
Yeah, you do.
So what would you say that, a small investor would want to come in? How small is small? Because that's it's all relative.
Yeah, it's all relative. You're right. So what we have found is in this market, we're in 2023 this year, and we're in Dallas, Texas, Dallas-Fort Worth.
Right.
And I would say, $75,000 to $100,000. Okay. Let's be conservative and call it the higher end of $100,000.
Okay.
So $100,000 is your down payment for your mortgage.
Okay.
And it's a little bit for your reserve account and some for your closing costs.
Gotcha.
All right.
Okay.
And then that's going to get you about a $350,000 property. All right.
And with that, that's good. That's really good information. And with that, do you, if just by watching the e-course, are they going to know how to come about, and who to contact to put something like this together, or would that be more of an advanced thing to say, okay, I'm ready to pull the trigger. I've got my $100,000 sitting over here, and I might pull it out of my 401k, or I might not, or whatever. Do they call you and hire you personally to do that, or do they seek out a real estate investor or agent, so to speak, or what would you say to them, Ian, in that situation?
I'd say you need to, figure out what your goals are.
Okay.
It's all about starting that, planning session.
Right.
Yeah.
You got to plan it, regardless of who you're talking to. You got to meet with the spouse or your significant other, and you have to have a plan set in place. So getting that plan together, this is how you'll learn how to get that plan in place.
In this e-course.
That's
this
right.
Yes.
This is
I love
building
that.
the plan.
Okay.
It's
This
great
is
way to
building,
say it.
like I said, foundation. You got to
Okay.
have a strong foundation.
Okay, so somebody invests, spends a few $100 on your e-course, they can watch this,
Yeah.
and by the time they're finished watching this e-course,
Yeah.
they're going to know a lot more than coming in.
100%.
And they'll be able to feel confident if they want to make that first purchase.
That
right?
first
Exactly
step.
right.
That
First step.
That first
Yeah.
step.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, very
It
good.
helps set up them to be like, am I able and willing to do this?
Yeah.
And then based on that, from that, they can reach out to us.
Yeah.
And we can help them set up with the transaction. It might be
Okay.
through our firm.
Okay.
It might not be, and that's okay.
Okay.
Being 20 years in a business, you have a lot of partners
Yes.
that you spend a lot of years validating and
Yeah.
verifying. But our job is to qualify. That's
Okay.
what we're experts in. We're problem
good.
solvers.
It's good.
And so, but this course helps get them the foundation. And then from there, they can reach out to us.
Okay.
And maybe we coach them. Like
Okay.
you're coaching me.
Yes.
Maybe we set them up with our partners for a transaction. Maybe they're working with us.
Okay.
There's a lot of possibilities and ways this could go.
It's really good.
Yeah.
It's really good. So I love that you guys are a team.
Yeah.
And you guys work together, and you guys have been doing it for 7 years. It's
Yeah.
really cool. And because it gives a different perspective, because your perspective's different sometimes maybe than Ian,
That's,
vice
that's
versa.
exactly right.
Yeah. and I
Iron
think it's-
sharpens iron.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah.
And I think we were even talking about the name, and I said I want Ian's perspective on this
Yeah,
because his
yeah.
is going to be different than
Exactly,
yours,
yeah.
right?
It's gonna be different.
Yeah.
So it's really cool. And and you guys have been together long enough to where you have done big deals. Yes. Okay. But a deal is a deal. I know I was talking to one of my friends here that owns Sotheby's here in Dallas, right? Okay, kind of a big deal in real estate and
Yeah.
residential. And I sent him a friend over there. I said, listen, I think he only has a small house of 400,000. He said, Mike, this guy's a CEO. He said, man, a deal is a deal.
It's true.
It's a deal.
It doesn't
And
matter.
whether
Yeah.
we made, $10,000 or 50,000 or $1 million, a deal is a deal.
Yeah.
And I think that because he's a real good friend of mine, and you guys are like that. I can tell you're like
Yeah.
that because you never know that first deal that you do for somebody. Maybe it is a small house, right? $350,000 house, but then 5 years from now, maybe they're buying 10 like that.
Yeah.
That's the first step.
Exactly.
You got to take those first steps.
It's good. It's
But
good.
that's who we were. I mean, like we speak to what we always call the normal person. We don't use that in an offensive way, but it's
Right.
like we still are, and were normal people.
Right.
Like we never have clicked and connected for some reason with the person that wants to buy a $10 million home. I'm not saying we can't or won't.
Right.
We like the common person. Like,
get it.
Like we love to give like deep, rich, like high level, intense, valuable information to people just like him and I.
Yep.
Because
Amen.
Michael, real estate changed our lives.
100%.
Like it has changed our lives in a way that we never
Good.
thought possible.
That's for
A
sure.
millionaire at 38.
Yeah.
Ian's on his way.
That's awesome.
And we both own rentals, and we both were just normal people.
Yeah.
His mother-in-law came over on the boat from Vietnam.
No way.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
And
so that
sure-
was probably in the 80s. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And she bought rental property,
I love that.
right?
I love
and it
that.
changed their lives. And within one generation, it has changed the life. And so that is just a story, like it inspires me. It
Yeah.
inspires me to want to help people. And earlier we mentioned like $100,000. I know that number is going to scare somebody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, the main client that we work with is like software engineer-minded, analytical. They usually work like, and honestly, most of our clients come from Northern California. They live in California. They work at
Interesting.
Google. We've never met probably 80% of them.
Wow.
We never even met
That's
them
so cool.
face to face. Never even met them.
Wow.
We've had Google Hangouts. We've seen them in a virtual way,
Yeah.
but we never met them. And because they can't buy property in California, so they buy it here.
Right, because it's crazy there.
Exactly. But they have their 401k set up.
Right.
They've got
They got
great
money set
credit.
aside, right.
Yeah. So who we're talking to in this is like, okay, if you want to be a real estate investor, you don't need to fit that demographic. It's
Right.
okay.
Yeah.
But we can help you get there. So this e-course might be a preparation tool.
good.
If you don't have 100,000, guess what? There are options.
Yeah.
There are markets like Idaho, like Reno, like parts of North Carolina. There are Florida markets.
I like that. So
there
there's-
are Atlanta,
there's different
Georgia
places.
markets. There are markets you can buy for less than that.
Okay, now the question
Yes.
is, and Ian, have you ever put together? Let's say you got somebody out there and says, "Man, I've got 50,000, and my buddy's got 75,000."
Okay.
Is that? Would you put a deal together with them as partners to buy a rental property?
Well, that depends on their goals. right?
Okay.
It depends on if they can work together like that.
That's great.
All right.
Right.
It's good.
You have to be able to work with the person for a long term. So
Yeah.
if you don't have like that relationship that's already established, we would probably recommend that
Yeah.
not be the
Not
case.
to do that.
Yeah.
But if they do,
If they have a business together, if they are, they know they're compatible.
okay.
Like
No
there's
problem.
No problem.
So you
Sure.
could bring 50,000, the other buddy brings 75, and now you got to, and you weigh out, you draw a contract to that, right?
We would really qualify it. We
Right.
would really qualify
Okay.
it. And because even if you come and you're like, well, it's my sister, surely nothing can go wrong.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Famous last words, right?
Don't
Yeah.
work with family.
Pretty sure money causes most relationship issues.
Amen.
It's the number one reason
Yeah.
for divorce.
Right.
Right?
100%.
It just is.
Yep.
And when you're dealing with that kind of money,
Yeah, it matters.
which is a lot of money for most people.
Right.
Right? It's still a lot of money to me.
Yeah.
It's probably
Yes.
still a lot of money to you,
Yes.
right? To a degree.
Yes.
And I mean,
Lunch can be a lot of money.
lunch is a lot of money.
Sometimes it
right?
is. Yes.
Especially the way I eat.
Yes. All right, so Ian, I love that you're in this company, and I love that you and Heather are working together because I think it adds.
I enjoy it.
It really is a cool
Yeah.
dimension. So tell me about yourself. You married, children? What do you got?
No, I'm just married. I
Okay.
have 3 dogs.
3 dogs.
Yeah, 3 dogs.
What kind of dogs?
They are mixes of Chihuahua and Pomeranian.
Wow, that's kind of
Small
weird,
dogs.
bro. But I'll give it that. That's good. That's
I
good.
didn't make that choice.
I hear you.
They chose
I
you.
just agree with the person that makes that choice.
I
Yeah,
understand.
your
I understand.
wife.
Wise man.
Yeah. Well, I mean, happy wife, happy life.
Amen. I
So-
get it.
But yeah, we live in West Dallas. I've been here since 2009.
Okay.
I was in the restaurant industry before real estate.
Yeah.
In another life, I like to say, or in a past life.
You were a chef.
Yeah, I was a
understand.
chef. Multiple restaurants in the Dallas area. But when I changed to real estate, I mean, my whole life changed. And this was based on a lot of the principles that we're talking about in this e-course.
Yes.
So, I mean, I'm a testament to, what this program and what these skills and what her 20 years and our 7 years together of experience,
Good.
can make you rich quick. Again, we're going to make you rich slow, but I think that's the best way to do it.
Amen. It lasts longer.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does. All right, it's good. Thank you so much. I'm really proud of you too, and you guys make a terrific team,
Yeah.
and I'm excited about what's going to happen. And so, look, if you want to make money, if you want to get rich, slow, okay, and steady, get this e-course because it's going to change your life.